Hello, welcome to the Garden Gurus. I'm Trevor Cochran. We've got another brilliant series packed full of down-to-earth gardening advice about gardening in Australia, but there's some inspiration coming from other parts of the world as well. In fact, I'm on a journey. I'm going to take you through Europe in autumn and show you some gardens that'll just blow your mind and give you some ideas and things that you might be able to achieve at home as well using European influences. In fact, we started in this magnificent botanical garden. I'm in the palm house of the beautiful garden here in Budapest. Now, it is absolutely gorgeous. I'll show it to you a bit later on in the show, but here's what's coming up in the rest of the program. We'll share the science behind the beautiful Geraldton wax flower and its development into a world-class cut flower and garden plant. Bonnie gets a little bit prickly over her favourite plants, and we'll show you some stunning plants to add to your garden this weekend.
Dig, 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 digging around. Dig, 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 digging the ground. I got my spade, I got my hoe, I got my rake, and I'm ready to go.
When we think of the term water-wise plants, they're quickly labelled as boring or unattractive, but it's just not true. Drought-tolerant plants can range from grasses to succulents and even the most graceful flowers found in an English-style garden. And then, of course, we've got our beautiful Australian natives. So I've come up with my own water-wise plants that I want to share with you to help save you money, time and water in your garden. First up on my list is this amazing eucalyptus. It's called Silver Princess, and it's really famous for its beautiful white-coated stems, and it tends to get that when it matures a bit. And there's old evidence of some flowers, and when the flowers do come out, they come out in spring, and they're the most beautiful pink colour. Now, this tree can get anywhere from 6 to 8 metres depending on your climate, and when you first plant it, you want to give it a really good drink through that summer to help establish it. But then after that, it'll be good to go. How's this for some contrast in your garden? This is Leucophyta brownii, and this is also known as the cushion bush. Now, it's quite an arid plant, so if you live in a coastal area with a lot of salt winds, this is perfect. But it also hates water. Too much, it will collapse. So if you've got a dry spot in your garden, it will love it. And it will only grow to about 1 metre tall and 1 metre wide. So it's the perfect, compact little plant for your garden. I just love the intensity of this Beaufortia estivia, also known as the sand bottle brush. Now, this is an extremely drought-tolerant plant as it can be grown in a whole bunch of different soil types. And it's a medium-sized shrub. It will grow to about 1 to 2 metres tall and 1 metre wide. And you can give it a prune to keep it more dense, or you can let it be and just let it grow as it wants to. But best of all, it's extremely long flowering. So you get these beautiful red flowers from spring, summer and early autumn, and it's also bee attracting. One of my favourite plants to use in a water-wise garden is Grevilleas, and this is a stunning variety. It's called Spirit of Anzac. And these flowers are just magnificent against this foliage, and they're absolutely covered in bees, so they're great for your bees, but the flowers also have a high nectar count, so it's really good for attracting native wildlife into our garden and creating a bit of a safe haven for them. And then last on my list is this plant just behind it. Despite its appearance, this is an extremely soft and cuddly plant. Adenanthus, the woolly bush, is a great plant if you want a little bit of height and texture in your garden. And there you have it, my top water-wise plants that you can't go wrong with.
Well, it's almost that time of year again. The seasons are changing and our deciduous trees are starting to colour up. Very soon they'll be dropping their leaves. And at the same time, many of our native trees have dropped a lot of leaves over the summer months through the stress of the drought. And this has meant a huge amount of leaf litter build up, and that usually means a lot of hard raking work. But the good news is, thanks to German engineering excellence, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. And I reckon blowers are the ultimate garden tool. There are plenty of options to choose from in the STIHL range, so we've broken down the different types to help you choose the perfect tool for you. STIHL's range of battery-powered garden tools is ever evolving. This is one of the range of blowers. It's the BGA 45. Super light, comes in at just 2.1 kgs. It only costs $199, but this is incredibly powerful. In fact, it's got an integrated battery system built into it. That's really good. It will do up to 200 square metres, which is equivalent to a tennis court, I suppose, in an area which is more than enough for the average small to medium-sized garden. Best of all, because it's so light, you won't be fatigued at the end of the job. If you're after something a little more robust to cover a larger area, my street is, for instance, a couple of kilometres long and the paths are covered with leaves and gum nuts, then the BGA 56 is one of the most popular tools in the STIHL battery range for a very good reason. Now, the best thing about this particular range is that this blower fits with the AK battery system. There's 9 different STIHL tools that you could use in the garden, including hedge trimmers, grass trimmers, there's chainsaws and even lawnmowers. And the best thing about it is that you can choose a battery. There's 3 different options that best suit your garden's requirements. Working comfort is at the forefront of design features with the BGA 56. This perfectly balanced blower features an adjustable tube for maximum blowing power close to the ground, making it incredibly easy to manoeuvre for users of all heights. The low gyroscopic forces make it effortless to handle, and the rubberised grip will allow you to move with impressive ease. When it comes to runtime, the BGA 56 is more than capable of clearing up to 900 square metres of leaves with the AK 30 battery. Now, the most wonderful thing about these blowers is that earmuffs or ear defenders are just not required. It means that you can get the job done any time of the day and you're not going to go upsetting the neighbours. Absolutely brilliant. All STIHL tools, like these blowers, are the result of over 90 years of German engineering excellence, so you know they'll last. Backed with dealer servicing and care, you can't go wrong.
How's this for a spectacular plant in the garden? It's a frangipani and it's in full flower. And if you could smell it right now, it's absolutely beautiful. And if you're looking for a bit of inspiration, stay tuned after the break here on The Garden Gurus.
I'm fascinated by the introduction of new plants into home gardens. Now, in the old days, it used to be the great plant hunters travelling the world, looking for species and then bringing them, eventually ending up in garden centres and in your backyard. But in more modern times, it's been all about plant hybridization, new plant species that are just hybrids naturally occurring, starting to arrive in our garden centres. These new and improved forms have better flower, better shape, better form, and 9 times out of 10, they're far easier to look after as well. I've headed into WA's Midwest to a company that's leading the innovation of wax flower breeding for cut flower and home garden shrub purposes. Adrian Parsons is the Managing Director of Helix Australia.
Helix is an Australian-owned company and we specialise in the breeding, marketing and licensing of new varieties of waxflower and boronia. We're at the forefront of genetics, working very closely with Kings Park Botanical Gardens, who are using very advanced breeding techniques to come up with new colours and varieties.
And the flowers have changed quite dramatically?
Yeah, so hybrids coming through the system now. We've got double flowers, we've got much larger bloom size, we've got some multicoloured flowers, and the future will be potentially double the size of an existing Geraldton wax flower.
I think one of the things that people used to sort of view a Geraldton wax as is a very large, gangly kind of shrub as it got older. But the way you treat them these days is actually quite different, isn't it? You're not scared to cut them back.
You can cut back a Geraldton wax plant very hard. So let it flower the whole season, possibly pick the flowers for the vase inside, but at the end of the season, you can go with a hedger even, and that'll put on new growth next year.
And, you know, when it comes to selections of plants, you're also selecting nice compact forms, which are probably better suited to smaller gardens?
Yeah, so the next wave of hybrids we're working with at the moment will be waxflower plants that can work in a rockery or a hedging environment, or also some very narrow plants for a side pathway of a house that can be trimmed up.
One benefit, apart from the spectacular flower production right through the winter and into spring, is the benefit it brings to native wildlife, such as birds who love these plants for both nesting purposes and nectar supply in the dead of winter. But also bees, who can get a great food source when most others haven't appeared yet.
So this is a variety we've identified that's got some real food applications, Trevor.
Okay.
If you just grab a leaf and have a bite, it's got a really strong citrus flavour to it. And we've got some leading restaurants in Melbourne and Adelaide and Perth who are using it with meat, with lamb, with seafood.
What are your top, say, 3 varieties that you'd recommend people look at putting into their own home gardens?
Right now, Trevor, Sarah's Delight, which is a large pink flower. Dee's Delight, which is slightly bigger than Sarah and flowers just a little bit later. And a beautiful white variety called Moonlight Delight. Very large flower and a beautiful red bud on it also.
I'm here in WA at Kings Park Botanical Gardens, and it's a great place to come and learn and just have a good time outside. And there's so many beautiful natives to see. For more great inspiration, stay tuned after the break here on The Garden Gurus. One of the best ways to create a fun display in your home, garden, or even your entertainment area with very little maintenance is with cacti. I love their rough, spiky and colourful appearances, and you can create some really interesting feature pots. Let's get stuck into it. When you're playing with these type of plants, it's always a good idea to have some gloves on hand to minimise the damage to yourself, but also to these guys as well. They might look tough, but some of them are actually quite fragile. And I'm going to be planting them into this nice bowl here. So now's the fun part, we can go shopping. When you're choosing cacti, look for the ones that have nice even growth, are well rooted in their pots, so not wobbly, and have a nice even colour. This way you know you're off to the right start by having healthy plants. Just take a look at these flowers here, they're really stunning. And when we think of cacti, we can think of harsh lines and rough textures, but their flowers are really elegant. And one of my favourite varieties of cactus is this one here. It's called the old man's cactus, and you can see why it gets its name. But this is also a really good variety for small containers, as it doesn't mind being in them for a long time. And then in the spring, you'll be graced with really long, about 1 inch long, white to pink flower. It's a really stunning variety, a good one to have. Next, you will want to arrange them before you get to plant them, just so you can get a feel as to what looks nice where. And once you're happy with the arrangement, you can start planting them into your container. For this project, I have picked up a premium cacti and succulent potting mix, which is more free draining for these type of plants, making it less likely for them to rot from excess moisture. All there is left to do is give this a really good feed. Now, when you're fertilising your cacti, you don't want to use a liquid fertiliser. Instead, use a slow release like this one, because they don't like large bursts of nitrogen in one go. It can cause limp growth, and we don't want that. And you can leave your cacti bowl just like this, or you could top it off with some nice decorative stones for a pretty touch. Check on this once a week for watering during the summer months, and in the winter every 2 to 3 weeks. There you have it, a fun, easy to make display perfect for the patio or table. Just remember to put them in plenty of sun and they'll keep on thriving.
This is one of my favourite European gardens, but not for the traditional reason we love European gardens. Normally, it's all about design. This one is all about the plant collection here. It's called Fuvelskirt Botanical Garden. It's located in Budapest in Hungary, and it is absolutely stunning. Now, the thing about this place was it was set up back in 1771 with a plant collection designed to help training physicians and practitioners get the very best possible results out of using natural remedies and solving common diseases and maladies. But since then, it's developed into one of Europe's finest botanical collections. This really is a very special garden, and it's all got to do with the number of species that are being collected here. There's over 8,000 species or cultivars of plants found here. To put that into context, the southwest corner of Western Australia, considered to be a biodiversity hotspot in the world, has 12,000 unique species. Or the UK, well, this is double the number of species that you'd find in the UK. So this really is a very special garden in what is a very small amount of land in the heart of one of Europe's most beautiful cities. This is one of the most valuable specimens in the whole botanical garden. It has a link to Australia. It's known as the Wollemi pine. It's an ancient pine specimen, a predecessor to the modern pines that we know today. And they were thought lost to the world. That was until about 30 years ago when a couple of guys went abseiling in the Wollemi National Park into a canyon and found 18 mature specimens. They've since been propagated via tissue culture. Plants moved all over the world, and even here in Budapest, they're being grown. But it's not that easy. One is because it's so valuable, it's protected with this big steel frame. And two, it's got pipes wrapped around the outside that are heated to keep the ground warm to encourage it to grow strongly. It's an amazing story. One of the most interesting plant displays here has to be these giant water lilies, Victoria amazonicus, or the Victorias. They're the largest water lilies in the world, with leaves that can have a diameter of up to 10 feet. Under the surface, the leaves have sharp spikes, an evolutionary development that defends the plant from herbivorous fish. Here's a fascinating little fact about these amazing lilies. They get so big in the wild that people, small humans, could easily step from one to the other and use them to walk across a stream, a river, or maybe a lake. Avoid them going into the water, which was really important because underneath those lily pads are piranhas, and you don't want to end up being piranha poo. If you're wondering what you should be doing in the garden this week, here's a handy tip. Get out and give your roses a prune. This is a spectacular standard. It is the burgundy iceberg, and take a look at it. She's fantastic, but she needs to be cut right back down now, probably by a third, so that we end up with two good flushes before the winter comes. Now's the time to do it, and after the break, we've got more brilliant gardening advice for you. Let me show you a little more of that amazing Hungarian botanical garden that's just 20 minutes from the capital, Budapest. We've done a few stories on greenhouses here on the Garden Gurus before, but few are as impressive as this. So I thought I'd take the chance to show you one of Europe's very best greenhouses, and inside you'll find a number of beautiful plants from around the equator. The Palm House is absolutely spectacular and one of Europe's oldest, built back in 1865. Now, it was built to house palms, which are considered to be so exotic that people would have come from far and wide to experience these amazing plants that come from equatorial regions. This particular one's a really good example. This is a plant that wouldn't grow in Europe anywhere under any circumstances at all. Interestingly enough, people will buy the nuts, plant them in a pot, grow them during the summer months, and then let them die during winter. But in here, a coconut palm will love it. In fact, this is going to grow and fill the roof cavity completely, producing huge nuts a bit later on. But my goodness, what an amazing space. It's not just palms. The conditions inside allow for a number of plants that are not native to the area to be grown, such as avocados, coffee, papaya, and bananas. This has to be one of my all-time favourite fruits. It's probably one of yours. I don't know anybody who doesn't like it, but you won't eat it like this. This is the cacao bean. Of course, from cacao, you end up with chocolate. And it was in the Bahamas where women were taking the dried fruit, crushing it, then mixing it with milk, giving it to children that were unwell. Soon after they had it, the choc milk would make the kids feel better. But to grow it, well, even in a hot climate like I live in, this won't grow. It has to be a humid, tropical climate. And this glasshouse is the perfect location. Just outside the glasshouses, you will find a surprisingly productive garden for one that's about to go into winter dormancy. This is the Japanese kaki fruit, or persimmon, as many of us will know it. It is absolutely stunning. You can see the beautiful autumn colours now. Well, all the foliage will drop, leaving that fruit hanging just like lanterns glowing in the night. They'll ripen on the tree and you can pick them before they fall off, and it's a delicious fruit as well. This is a tree that you should be growing at home yourself. It does grow in Australia really well. The collection of plants that have been introduced here from Asia is amazing, and if you're taking a look at this one, you might be thinking, I've lost the plot, because that's the kiwi fruit, right? Well, here's a great marketing story. You see, the Kiwis, a long period of time ago, took the Chinese gooseberry to New Zealand, grew it in the Bay of Plenty, grew them so well that they then sold them across the world as kiwi fruit. None of us knew any better, except for the people here in this botanical garden, because they've got some amazing specimens growing, producing lots of fruit. It doesn't matter what kind of day you've got, even if it's rainy, make sure you head out of the glass houses and explore the middle of the garden. There is an arboretum here with over 800 species of trees, and the autumn's the best time to explore it because you've got so much colour variation. Well, that's it for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. It's it for summer too. It's just about over. Next week we're back. Autumn begins and we have got some amazing gardens to showcase, some great stories and of course some terrific competitions. I'm Trevor Cochran. If you want to know anything more about what you saw today, check out our Facebook page and our website. We'll see you next week.